can we just have pizza? And then he goes, she went to the back, she grabbed the wedding albums and started tearing them up. I said, what? Over pizza? He said, yeah.
God.
Hey stranger, do you wanna have a chat? Could you tell me where you're from and where you're going, where you're at? Hey stranger, could you use a little break from all the way you're carrying and maybe entertain me with your stories and I'll tell you mine. I'm really lonely, I just wanna try, seeing if we could get lost for a night. So won't you come join me for a drive?
You were saying about that guy, David Vinderberg?
Brant Pindovic, yeah.
My bad. Brant Pindovic.
Yeah, he came to Qatar and I saw him at the kayaking with 365 Adventures, and I asked him, I said,
With who adventures?
365 Adventures.
365 Adventures.
They do tours all around Qatar and they do things in the city, things outside, kayaking, desert and all that sort of stuff.
Is that like a travel or tourist group here?
Yeah, they're quite good, they're quite popular. They also exist in Saudi Arabia as well. And so he was doing 70 countries and he said he saw people that I'd never met, but they follow the same patterns of behavior, the way they walked, the way they did things. And he said it was really surreal that human beings, when we fall into human behavior, we end up behaving in similar ways.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't learn it on social media, we didn't learn it from watching someone else. So I found that very interesting. And he found Qatar really interesting. He did the sand dunes and I was with him on the kayaks and he said, he had a blast, and somewhere in his documentary he's making, Qatar will be there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess to piggyback off of that, like my experience has been, there's like some surprised me when it comes to just the cultural overlap between certain Qataris and like me and how I talk. Like the references and the shows that they watch, like I wouldn't have expected them to watch it. Yeah. And then like we have that common cultural reference. Apart from that, what I've learned just from talking to people, even if they're like, I would consider myself like more westernized, I guess, and I think you would too. But like even people from more conservative or closed off cultures, there's still a willingness and a curiosity to talk to other people as long as you make the first move and like reach out. Yeah. There's like, people are really eager to talk about themselves and connect with other people, like even if they seem foreign.
That's really interesting because where I'm from, so I'm from London, right? Yeah. In London, you just absolutely do not talk to anyone. Okay. Okay. Especially on the train. Yeah. There's a meme or there's a video out there. It's about a man that was trying to approach people because he's from a friendlier part of the world. I see. And in the tube, what you guys call the underground or the subway, you do not talk to anyone. When I came to Qatar, I came 2014 it was. Okay. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, what are you doing? That probably sounds strange now because there's a trend of people coming to Qatar and so on, but back then people were like, what are you doing? Where is that? Where are you going? Going to the desert? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm good with that. And they were like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to go and teach English and go from there. And
wait, so can I ask how old you are?
Now I'm 36.
So you're 36 now.
But I came
2014, you would have been 25?
Yeah. I just finished my degree. I just finished my master's. And I just finished my teaching training. And I thought there's got to be more to the world. There's got to be more out there. So I contacted an agency. It's an agency that sends you to go and teach across the world. And to be honest, I didn't know what Qatar was. And I said, I want to teach in the Middle East. And as anyone would back then, 2014.
Wait, aren't you Qatari? Like, you're ethnically Qatari?
No.
Oh, you aren't?
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from UK. I've got mixed heritage. Okay. But I was born and brought up in London. And the only thing I knew about Qatar back then was the Qatari mosque that was in Park Lane. I'd go and pray there sometimes. Okay. In Ramadan. And so I was like, I'll go to Dubai. And the agency's like, no, forget Dubai. Go to Qatar. I said, what's that? Oh, it's Qatar's neighbor. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'll go to Qatar, wherever that is. And I was telling my students the other day that I then Googled what Qatar was. And all I got back then, have a guess. What do you reckon I came up on Google back then?
Did they have the airport in 2014? Hamad?
I think so. I think I landed there.
Yeah, maybe. I would guess the airport. That would seem like the most...
Not even that.
Noteworthy landmark.
I got West Bay.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm not even familiar with West Bay right now.
So I got West Bay. So I saved that as my wallpaper. I was like, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
And so I, finished my contract in the UK, and then I came out here.
Wait, so what was the agency that you were in contact with?
I think it was Teach Away Direct or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and they sent me out there. So I had no expectations, which actually helped, apart from West Bay, which didn't help because when I got here, my accommodation was in Sukal Ali, right? Okay. And so I got there, I was like, where are all them shiny buildings? I was going to West Bay. So they dropped me off in the dead of night. That's when my flight landed. Got in there, I was like, this is not what I expected.
I'm interested to know more about the process of making the decision to come here. So like, was there some pivotal event that made you think, okay, I got to get out of London, I got to come to...
Look, London in 2010, 2011, it was a great place to live. I won't lie. I did my master's on walking the streets of London. I loved the city, but I'd gone everywhere. I'd gone to the places where these famous authors have written their books. I've gone to where Dr. Johnson put the dictionary together. And when you've seen all of that, you think... I guess it must have been when I finished my teaching training and I felt like I had an international license to teach across the world. Yeah. And I thought, there's got to be more to life. You know, when you have that young feeling, like, there's got to be more out there.
Sure.
And Dr. Johnson said, actually, when a man is tired of London, he's tired of life, because London has all there is to offer. But I was like, no, but there's got to be more out there. What would it be like to do my job in a different part of the world? I had that optimistic, aspirational mindset, right?
Gotcha.
And I was like, let me go Middle East. Let me see what it's like in the Middle East. I grew up on Edgware Road in London, so it was a very Arab area. Okay. Middle East wasn't that much of a stretch for me, right? Yeah. And I came here.
So growing up, would you speak Arabic and attend like a bunch of Arabic functions and weddings and that kind of thing?
I knew the Arab culture. I knew the Arab dances that the Arabs did. I went to Arab weddings, and I was very affiliated with it. I was very comfortable with Arab people.
I don't think you've said yet. Are you Emirati or Saudi or Jordanian? Like, what are you ethnically?
Maybe this is something we can leave for people to talk about in comments.
To guess, okay.
That'd be nice, right?
Sure, yeah. So tell me in private, and we can let them guess. Gotcha. So primarily you're speaking English at home, and then you got a bunch of Arab friends and family.
So I picked up the Arabic, studied some Arabic as well. One summer, we literally blitzed Arabic from beginning to end. So I was very familiar with the language. But traditional Arabic, not the Khaleeji Arabic. I picked up Khaleeji Arabic afterwards.
Traditional meaning like Fusha?
Yeah, Fusha.
Okay.
And so when I came here, I spoke to my Qatari friends.
Yeah, no one could understand
you. Sound Shakespearean. They're like, I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, Aslom, when you talk to someone, do you say, hast thou any bread? I'm like, no. They go, well, that's how it's Fusha sounds to us. Yeah. I was like, yeah, we understand it, but that's not like, it's not, no one's down with it like that. It's just,
it's not colloquial.
You're not in a formal gathering, So that's from my Qatari friends that I made here, which I'm very fortunate and grateful for, actually, because when I was in my late 20s, I didn't know anyone. Like, imagine coming to a country you don't know anyone.
You have no contacts at all throughout the whole country.
You're on zero. I was on zero when I came, right? Okay. I had nothing. No point of contact, no nothing. And so, you know what? It felt like I really got to start my life
from scratch.
From scratch. And I really mean that, from absolute scratch, right? Zero expectations of the country, apart from West Bay not being like Sukal Ali. But apart from that,
just describe for me and others who don't know, what is the difference between West Bay and Sukal Ali?
Is a more downtown area, a couple of restaurants, a couple of residential buildings. And it's where you go to have your thobe made. Okay. But it's not luxury living, it's just a regular house.
Gotcha.
So I started off like that. I've lived in 5 houses in Qatar now. Now I live in like an apartment you find on the Pearl, but it's closer to Doha, and I'm loving it. Here's the thing. So people come to Qatar now, right, with so many expectations. You can't do that. You have to come with zero, because if you come with zero, then you build everything up, right?
Sure.
And so I came here, and slowly, I started making friends. I made some Qatari friends. I made local friends. Now, people ask me, why do I not have so many friends that are expats? And I'll tell you, my first year, I made a whole bunch of expat friends. And 2 years later, they left, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah. It's heartbreaking when they leave, because, I still remember my friend Sam, who's probably going to watch this. Him and I used to go to Souq Waqif, and we'd go to a specific restaurant, we'd eat there. Okay. And now when I walk past it, I remember him. I'm like, oh, man, so when Sam and I used to come, and I reminisce a little bit. So,
how did you make those friends in the first year? Was that through work?
We all came together on the same boat, as it were. So we were all teachers. Okay. And we came down, and everyone was on a zero in terms of contacts. Everyone was didn't know anything much about the country. Now social media gives teachers more and people more, but back then no one knew anything. So we were kind of like, not trauma bonding, but it was a new experience bonding,
Sure. So you all came together on the same flight through that one agency?
Yeah. Oh, no. Not the same flight necessarily, but we were working in the same school.
Okay.
So we all met on the first day of school for the newbies. Newbies start a week early compared to other teachers.
Gotcha. What was the school?
The school was Gulf English School.
Gulf English School.
Yes, yeah, in Garafa. And I had 4 wonderful years there. I saw my students graduate. Some of the students now work for Qatar Airways in terms of engineering. They work for Qatar Airways in terms of the software development. A lot of them work. Yeah.
So there's probably a high chance that one of your students is watching right now.
Yeah, they'll watch this.
Okay, cool.
They'll watch this. And, I help them along the way in terms of giving them the motivation. Because as teachers in the UK, we're trained to motivate our students.
Yeah.
But some teachers here, they don't have that, because I found that there's a lack of motivation sometimes in staff, especially those who are new or even those who have been here for a long time. But me personally, I motivated my students. I'm like, you've got to achieve your best, and it helped them along the way. And now when I see them, I'm very proud of them. I'm like, look where they are now. Look what they're doing with their lives.
That's good. Yeah, you seem like you have a very energetic and like enthusiastic personality. I'm envious of that quality, and I'm not that, active and animated.
When I think of education and helping young people, it's something I'm very passionate about, and I think because they're the generation of tomorrow,
Yeah.
And so I spent 4 years in GES, and over those years, I made friends and got to know the country. You have your ups and downs. Like honestly, in your first year, you know what I missed? I missed the post box. I missed that thing. I was like, man, I miss sending mail. Okay. I miss the postman delivering my Amazon stuff. Now it's, some delivery guy's gonna call you up. Yo, I've got your package. I'm like, I'm at work. What do you want? He's like, I got it now. I'm like, okay, but I can't accept it now. He texts me later. He goes, okay, you're gonna get it next week. But so I missed the postman, and I almost left. I actually resigned in the first year. I was like, and I'm done.
Okay.
I resigned. I was like, I'm done. And
you resigned from GES in the first year?
Yeah, I was like, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm going to go back.
Well, what made you reach that breaking point?
I was homesick. I missed my family. I missed London. I missed all of it. I was like, nah, this is Qatar's not it. It's for me.
Is most of your family back in London?
They're all back in London.
They're all back in London. Okay.
And so here's the thing. On the last week, this kid that I'd given so many detentions to, right? this Qatari kid, I won't say his name.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'd given him so many detentions. I'd told him off so many times. He came into school. No, he didn't. His driver came into school with this huge cake, right? It's about the size of your dashboard, right? And it said, "Farewell, Mr. Ullah." And man, I swear that cake melted me. I was like,
was that like that's like a sincere, heartfelt gesture from him, or
sincere, heartfelt gesture? Okay. And he put I had a teaching logo before Qatari Music Vibes. I had a logo for my teaching videos.
Yeah.
He had that. I didn't even know you could do that.
Okay.
He had it cakefied, if I can coin a word as an English graduate. Yeah. He had it cakefied. It was there. I was like, what is this? He goes, "Sir, we're gonna miss you. Allah, we're gonna miss you. Okay. This for you." And I swear, I was like, I'm not gonna get that from my students in the UK. And with the kids in Qatar, in every part of the world you're gonna get misbehavior, but if you can win them over, I'm telling you, they'll work for you, they'll get out of the way for you. And if another kid messing around, be like, hey, Mr. Ullah's class, you're gonna behave. So that was amazing that I didn't plan, I'm gonna almost leave and the kid's gonna bring in a cake. No, I was like, yeah, I'm done, I miss home. And he came in with the cake. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this place a
So if you didn't get that cake, you would have left?
I don't know. I probably would have left and come back. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second year, I was talking to the kids, and they were like, Mr. Ullah, I was like, guys, I heard that Havana song the other day. Wouldn't it be so cool if Havana was like changed? This is before AI, right?
Yeah.
If Havana was changed, so it's like Qatar, oh na na. And they were like, that sounds cool, sir. So I wrote the lyrics, got a singer in South America to sing it. She sent me the MP3, and I made just a lyric video, and it blew up. It was going crazy.
Okay.
And I was like, what? And next thing I know, Shakira came to Qatar. I was like, Shakira, didn't you make that Waka Waka song? So I remade that into Doha Doha, right?
Yeah.
2022. Next thing I know, that's exploding. It's playing in the malls and everything. Then I get one of my songs reposted by Her Excellency Sheikha Mayasa.
Okay.
And my phone is blowing up while I'm asleep. I'm getting the follows and the DMs on my phone, all as I'm sleeping, right? Fast forward, concerts during the World Cup. Fast forward, they're playing my song in the malls, they're playing it on the Dow boats, it's everywhere.
Okay.
And I was like, what an unexpected thing to happen. And that's the thing about Qatar, is that I felt like I started my life again here. Then I got the YouTube award, which is in the back of your car.
Go ahead and show them. Yeah.
That's here. So before I knew it, I got a notification from YouTube that you've surpassed a 100K award. There you go.
I'll be getting one of these soon myself, hopefully.
Yeah. So they actually sent me 2. So I've got one in Qatar and one back in the UK. And as you can see, YouTube asked me, what do you want on the name? And I was like, should I put my name Aslom Ullah? I was like, nah, Aslom Ullah had 300 followers on YouTube. Qatari Music Vibes is the one that got 100K. So I put Qatari Music Vibes on it, and that's the name that's on the channel and it's on the plates. And you know what? I wouldn't have had this if it wasn't for coming to Qatar and trying out new things, taking risks and making opportunities for myself. So that's something that's really cool that I'm very grateful for, because I never would have had that if I was back in the UK. And then that was followed by, I wrote a book, which is, I think, somewhere in here.
It's right here. I think you put it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now, people ask me, why didn't I write about Qatar? Qatar's going to feature in part 2 of that book, right?
There's a book. The book is...
Boyhood.
Boyhood by Aslom.
Yeah. Teenage Survival Guide.
All right.
How to survive being a teenager, right? How did I write this? I'm telling you, I don't know if you found this. There's like time seems to extend here. I find my time goes fast when I'm in London. I don't know what it is, if it's the stretch of the day or if it's the busyness of London life. I'm able to do more here. I don't know if it's the long weekends or if it's what, but like I said, I feel like I started a new life here. And anyone that's thinking of coming out to work in Qatar or teach in Qatar, it's great, because you have to love your job, because wherever you work you have to love your job. But don't come to see the TikTok Qatar, because you're not going to find it. TikTok Qatar is so cool, it's flashy and it's sunny, but in my first year I found you go for a transition. You first come here and you're in tourist mode, and it's great. You're having these brunches, you're going to the beach, and somewhere along the way, you change. You go from being a visitor to a resident, and you're living here. And when that happens, then you have to accept Qatar for all it is. I know it gets quite hot from September to around November. Yeah, Qatar comes with heat, but then it comes with an amazingly extended British summer. British summer, it's like we get a couple of weeks of that. That British summer, that lasts here for months, and it's amazing.
British summer means what?
Like wicked temperatures. The sun's out, but we also get a cool breeze.
Okay.
And you will only get there for a couple of weeks before it starts raining again in the UK, right? So if you come with an idea that I'm not going to come to TikTok Qatar, I'm going to go to this place because I want to try out new things, and you can't come here and compare life to the UK, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. It's different here. It's like I missed the post box, right? Now you have someone that's going to deliver your mail to you. They're going to ask you for your location and to deliver your mail to you, whether it's an Amazon package or whatever. Get used to that. Get used to Talabat, get used to Snunu, get used to ordering your groceries online. And I tell you, one of the songs I wrote, the lyrics go, I never want to hear you say I love the UK, because and it's a Backstreet Boys cover, right? And back then when I wrote it, it was a bit of a parody, but honestly, every time I go back to the UK, it's scary. I was holding onto my phone all summer, trying to not get robbed. My Amazon package was actually stolen. Plot twist, guess who stole it?
Who?
The Amazon delivery guy. Right? So I told my friends, guys, I got robbed, and I never even met the thief, right? Then I reported him. I said, I've got his face on my doorbell camera. I'm going to report him.
You have one of those Ring cameras?
Exactly. We've got the Ring app. So we recorded him. Between me and you, our screen's a little bit blurry, so I didn't really get his face, but he didn't have to know that, right? The next day, I swear to you, you can't make this up. The next morning, he came at 5 a.m. in the morning, threw it into my garden. So the thief returned the item. Qatar is so safe that you can leave something in the mall, it'll stay there, or someone will hand it into Lost and Found. I was traveling once and I dropped my wallet between Gulf Mall and Landmark. Someone returned it to the Lost and Found. And when I went to Lost and Found, they said, oh yeah, we've got your wallet, here it is, sir.
How much did you have in the wallet?
It wasn't how much. I had my UK bank card, my Qatar bank card, my QID, and I was traveling in a few days. I couldn't travel without those things. So a guy handed it in and he said, yeah, he found this. That will not happen in the UK. So, one of the songs I wrote was I Feel to Qatari. And honestly, it's not about, you can feel Qatari when you're living here, because when you feel an affiliation, you feel like this is your home, then I think you're that percentage Qatari in that sense. And when during the World Cup, people were here, they were dressing in the national outfit. They were dressing in the national outfit in their flag colors, which is so cool. And they said, yeah, we feel slightly Qatari. Okay. So that was really awesome,
If you had to categorize your own cultural identity, like what would you identify with most?
That's hard now, I swear to you, that's really hard, because I feel more culturally akin to Qatar. There's a part of me that will always forever be British, in the sense that I grew up there and I love to sit down with a good book. I love to go for walks, which isn't really very Middle Eastern. I love to go for a walk along. Along
the Thames.
Along the Thames, yeah, along the Thames. They call it, the technical term is perambulation. Perambulation is when you walk without an aim of going anywhere. You're just walking.
Yeah,
perambulation is amazing. I love to perambulate in London. I loved it. Every time I go back, when I'm with my Qatari friends or with my British friends, we go for walks. And I said, guys, it's called the art of walking. It's amazing. There's a Desi side to me, so I do love a bit of Bollywood.
Nice.
I recently bought the jacket that Shah Rukh Khan wore in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Okay.
Yeah. And
what, like the original jacket?
Well, it was. I thought
like a replica. It has to be a replica.
I thought it was an exact replica, but my student showed me that, sir, the zip's in the wrong place, so it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. It's the yellow one that he wore in Kushuhataya. I'm good enough with that. Okay, I paid $80 for it, so don't rain on my thunder.
Yeah, shut up.
So I think that I'm a nomad. Yeah, living here, I've become a nomad. I've lived in 5 different houses here. I've lived in the UK. It's weird having your sense of home becomes
Very
flexible,
elastic. Yeah.
Haven't you found that?
Yeah.
You've had that. You've lived all over the world.
Yeah, like the more I think about my own cultural identity, I kind of just feel like a citizen of the world, if you will. Just like
with globalization, with the blending of boundaries and
like borders aren't real. It's just
borders aren't real.
We do them ourselves.
There's a game called Metal Gear Solid. You know Metal Gear Solid?
I'm familiar, but I've never actually played it. Yeah.
So in Metal Gear Solid, one of the games is called Peace Walker, and at the end of Peace Walker, you only hear the audio, you don't see the video of this, right? I mentioned Metal Gear Solid because the new Metal Gear Solid Delta just came out on PS5. Yeah. It's a remake of PS3. And that character Snake, he walks up to the podium and he's made this army an army without borders, right? And he says, we are soldiers without borders, a purpose defined by the era we live in. And I feel as a teacher, having lived in Qatar now, I'm a teacher without borders. My purpose is defined by the era I live in. I choose the text I'm going to teach to my students. And it's great to have the flexibility. I'm not pinned down to one country by my job. As an international teacher, I've now become a teacher without borders. And I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
so which subject do you teach?
English. So Shakespeare and all of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's great fun. I love teaching Shakespeare. I love teaching poetry. We're doing a Monster Calls right now, which is also a movie with Liam Neeson. What else are we teaching? Macbeth. We're teaching The Hunger Games.
So I'm guessing as an English teacher, you must have a natural affinity for and love of literature, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're picking those texts that you're teaching your students, you must be thinking to some degree about like, how is this going to shape them and their minds and their personality, right?
Yeah, and one of my Qatari students, I taught them an Inspector Calls. It's a play by J.B. Priestley. It's a play about responsibility. And my student, when I heard from them a long time later, as they were finishing, I went to the university graduation at Qatar Foundation.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, Mr. Ola, I said, yeah, I came to see you guys graduate. So thank you for coming. And they said, you know what? I never forgot an Inspector Calls. It taught me so much about responsibility. So I know the texts that can have an impact out here, so I teach those, but by that same token, I might choose a text and it surprises me, it surprises the students too. It has such a profound impact on them and it changes their outlook, and that's the best thing about teaching literature. It can, what do they say in the Monster Calls? Stories can wreak havoc, they can change so much. Once you put a story out there, you never know what it's going to do, and you never know how it's going to shape someone's mind and shape their thought process and shape their decision making.
Yeah, I find that to be true in a more general sense with all art now, like even paintings, video games, songs, movies. Like the Batman trilogy, that is such a perfect distillation of every principle of justice and like truth and equality that you would want any modern person to have. Same with
I'm a huge fan of Christopher
Nolan. Yeah.
I met him at the Batman Begins premiere.
Sorry, just to close the loop on what I was saying. When I watched, have you ever played The Last of Us?
I played The Last of Us before it was a TV show. I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us.
Yeah. So I've been sleeping on that for 10 years. I played The Last of Us for the first time on my cousin's PS4.
Right.
And it just hit home every single point about why we need institutions and people who care about each other and like cooperation and laws and norms and all of that. And it just made me so much more aware of how much we take those things for granted, you know, and like how worthy they are of preserving and protecting. So yeah, and continue with what you were saying with about Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so Last of Us is amazing. There are people that tell me, hey man, have you played that Last of Us game? I'm like, I played it when it came out.
What was your reaction to Joel's decision to save Ellie?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, what's your take on that?
The part where the kid shoots himself, I was playing it and I put the controller down. I was like, oh my God, it was like watching a TV drama.
Yeah.
My brother and I
It felt so real. It's so visceral. Yeah.
My brother and I were playing at the same time, and I went to him, he goes, what happened? I said, have you done chapter 4 yet? He goes, no. I said, go and play it now. And I'll just watch it afterwards. I don't want to say anything. He went, he goes, oh my God, man. I was like, yeah. And then the ending, we both finished it together. And we were like, I don't know, like, was it the right decision or the wrong decision? It was amazing. I think that Joel did what was right for him selfishly in choosing to save Ellie. But the thing is, he took away her choice. Had he given her some level of autonomy in it, he wouldn't have had to live with the decision alone. I think sometimes when we make a decision, if it involves someone else, we have to include them in the decision. You know, that's what he didn't do. Maybe she would have got scared and said, you know what, Joel, save me, kill everyone, get me out of here. But then, had he done that, he wouldn't know how to live with the decision himself. But back to Christopher Nolan, I went to the Dark Knight premiere and I met him.
Where was that premiere?
The Dark Knight premiere was in London, Leicester Square.
Okay, nice.
And I won't lie, I was a big Batman fan, so I put the Batman cowl on. I had a bit of Batman suit.
Cool.
Very homemade Batman suit, right? And I went to the premiere, but I'll tell you why it was good. I took a CD with an edit that I'd made with his Batman clips and all the other Batman films. And he came up to me and I handed it to him. I said, can you watch this? I said, you know, make sure you email me back when you watched it. And I wrote my email address on the CD as well. He goes, all right. I said, and something else. I said, you used Senate House Library, didn't you, in your scene where Bruce's parents' killers killed? He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, I knew that. I was like, okay.
What's Senate House Library? That's a place in London?
Senate House Library is the huge building, right? It was a huge part of my university upbringing because I got my books from there. But inside is the hall, and the hall looks like a courthouse. So he used that scene where Joe Chill gets shot in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
He used that background, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, I recognize this. I've got to tell him. Right? And he was so taken aback. He's like, that's not what people who get 2 minutes with me really ask me, right? I was a kid. I'd ask him different things now, right, about his vision.
How old were you when you?
I must have been about 19, 18 or something like that.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah, so I saw him and I gave him my CD and I was like, man, he's gonna email me. Man, I'm checking my email in my junk box every day. Nothing. I gave it up for 7 days, right? And then Christian Bale came out of the cinema, right? And he pointed at me from far away and he walked all the way up to me. I was like, can you, and I got Nolan's autograph on I got a book, and then I said, Christian Bale, can you sign my book? He goes, yeah, sure, man, I'll do it. I was like, he's British.
Which book?
Dude, I was going to the premiere, I had nothing to hand. I just grabbed this black diary that I had.
Okay.
So he signed it, right? And I was like, oh, Christian Bale, yeah, nice to meet you. And the guy's so tall, right? And I had so many Batman Begins quotes I wanted to tell him, but man, I froze because I was starstruck. So
what's your favorite one? Mine is the, it's not who you are, but what you do that defines you.
He says, it's not who I am underneath, it's what I do that defines me. And she says to him, you know, before that, she's like, inside you may be that brave kid I knew as a child, but it's not who you are underneath, it's what you do that defines you. I would have loved to have said it. I would have loved to have told him, training is nothing, the will is everything. But, which is very true, you know, it's not about the theory, it's about the practice.
Yeah, the will to act.
Yeah, the will to act. And I panicked, and I was like, it's so hot in this mask. He goes, yeah, well, you know what, mate, you know what, yeah, you can go home after the Senate. Now you know how I felt for 6 months. I was like, not the interaction I expected to have with Christian Bale, right? And then he walked away, I got my autograph and I took it home and I was like, I'm never gonna wash this book. I'm gonna, like, it was on a piece of plastic, so I elasticated it and I put it away in my safe and I've still got it, but I have no video evidence. You know, everyone puts a camera in and celebrates it. Back then, you couldn't. The phone cameras just weren't there back then. But the Batman trilogy is amazing because the writing is so good. Yeah. The script is so
One
good.
thing I'll say is The Dark Knight Rises, after watching it for maybe like the 4th or 5th time, I feel like there's a lot of fan service going on in that one. Like, how the hell does he get out of the cave and come back to Gotham? There's plot holes that I'll forgive just because I'm a huge fan of the franchise.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan said that the 3 elements of the Batman trilogy should be fear, and then I think it's chaos. So fear for Batman Begins, chaos for The Dark Knight, and then pain for The Dark Knight Rises, because Bruce goes through a lot of pain and suffering. You know, the pain of losing Alfred, the pain of losing his body, the pain of his city burning, and then ultimately he has redemption, and it ends on his pain ending, because his pain will never end unless he stops being Batman, you know, because there's a line from Batman Forever, who else would put themselves through a life of nightly torture? You know, why
Batman Forever, that's the one with
Jim Carrey.
And, who's is it Michael Keaton? No, not Michael Keaton.
Val Kilmer, yeah. That was the first movie I watched in the cinema.
I think that might be the first Batman film I watched. Batman Forever, Batman Returns, Batman, I don't remember, but yeah, I watched those when I was like 4 or 5 on the cassettes.
Yeah, the VHS.
Yeah, VHS, yeah.
So for me, when the writing's good in those movies, the writing's really, really good. You know, Batman Returns with Selena Kyle and him talking about, he says, we're the same, split right down the center. You know, and he's talking to Catwoman because let's run away together. And she goes, I would love to live with you in a castle, but I couldn't live with myself for what I've done. So the writing for those old films were good, but I do think Dark Knight Rises, it suffered because, you know, the death of Heath Ledger. So Christopher Nolan didn't really know where to go. Originally, I think the plan was
they were going to make a third one with... Bro, you just got me thinking about that counterfactual history now. Like, I can't imagine what that would have been like. Yeah, I never even thought of that.
I'll tell you. So if Heath Ledger had survived, then in The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane breaks out, everyone out of the prison,
oh my God.
Joker would have been one of them.
Yeah.
And that third act of that film would have been entirely different.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been entirely different because Batman would have taken down Bane, or he wouldn't have realized that Joker would have been waiting in the background.
That's crazy.
So that's how that movie would have been. They were going to give some scenes to Heath Ledger's Joker, played by Daniel Day-Lewis in the same makeup and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And because they've got some audio, obviously, of the Joker they haven't used. But then Christopher Nolan thought, in order to preserve his memory...
Yeah, it seems a little distasteful.
Yeah, it seemed like it would be fan service and it would not do his memory justice. So he didn't do anything. That's why all the Blu-ray and everything, there's hardly anything out there in terms of Heath Ledger behind the scenes and everything. They thought, let the performance speak for itself and leave it at that.
Were you a big fan of Heath Ledger outside of his...
Yeah, I loved him in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay.
There's A Knight's Tale, which I'm vaguely familiar with, but in 10 Things I Hate About You, he's really good, you know, playing this big jock, you know. But in The Dark Knight, I think he disappeared into the character, which is very rare and very hard to find, but he kind of disappeared into the character.
Yeah, and, he was doing that method acting.
Huh?
Method acting.
Yeah, the method acting, and even Christian Bale said, no, there's a scene where Aaron Eckhart, who played Two-Face, yeah, he said his only memory of Heath Ledger is in the hospital scene, you know, and because there's a part where Heath Ledger just walked around, looking at him, looking around, and just Aaron Eckhart's like, "Are we going to film this? What's going on?" And after that portion of time, he's like, "And that's acting." Yeah, and he's like, "Wow." You know the part where Joker's talking to him and Aaron Eckhart, he's all tied up in the bed just after the explosion, and he's like, "It wasn't me that your Rachel." Yeah. That Rachel part that wasn't scripted because Joker's supposed to say the line Rachel because he was fetching for the line, and Aaron Eckhart's tied up, he can't move. When he frustratedly shouts out, "Rachel!" Rachel. Yeah. That was unscripted.
Okay.
So his acting was genius, and the part where he comes in full makeup when he fires the shotgun and goes, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." If you watch that film again, when you see him fire the gun into the air, Alfred was supposed to say he had a line, but he got so scared and taken aback by looking at the Joker firing the gun, you just see him go into shock, Michael Caine. And it's very hard to scare Michael Caine, but the Joker scared Michael Caine. Sir Michael Caine, by the way. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to get a trilogy like that again. They've tried to replicate it with other films. It's not going to work, I think. Yeah. The writing was good. The script was good. The acting from everyone was on point. No one really phoned it in or anything. They all... I mean, I guess Maggie Gyllenhaal for me was a little bit subpar. Morgan Freeman came in for all three movies.
Dude, I still can't believe that Morgan Freeman is the same actor that played both Sirius Black and Jim Gordon. You know, visually... I can kind of see, it just doesn't seem like the same person to me, you know what I mean?
Oh, you're talking about Gary Oldman.
Yeah, who am I? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Gary Oldman was Sirius Black, and he was James Gordon.
Yeah.
He was a good Jim Gordon. I think he said he enjoyed doing work with Christopher Nolan for the Dark Knight series, playing Jim Gordon, because Christopher Nolan just let him out there and take the character for himself, and the only one piece of direction he got in all those years was, maybe do that one again, try again. Yeah, maybe, and that's all he got. And he's like, "Yep, I know what he wants. I know what I have to do." Hingle was the old James Gordon in the Michael Keaton films. He was terrible. He got worse gradually. He got, because as the films became funnier, he became more of a caricature.
Which Batman is this one?
Pat Hingle was James Gordon in the Michael Keaton Batman and Batman Returns, and then in Batman Forever, and then by Batman and Robin, he was just a joke.
Wait, were all four of those films supposed to be in the same cinematic universe?
They're supposed to be the same series because a lot of the characters stayed the same. Batman's changed his faces 3 times. Yeah, but Gordon stays the same, Alfred stays the same. So yeah, I mean, Two-Face does change, but it's supposed to be one of those things where they thought Batman will be a bit like James Bond, when everyone else stays the same, Q stays the same, M stays the same, but James Bond's face changes. There was a ideology at that time when they thought Batman's face could become like a revolving door, but as long as everyone else stays the same, what does it matter who's behind the mask? But then you realize that Val Kilmer said, I felt like I was told to turn up and put the suit on, and no one really cared why I did it as Bruce Wayne. And Christian Bale, he said, when he came in, there was a thing where people, when they're watching a Batman movie, when it was Bruce Wayne, they're like, "Oh God, it's so boring. Let's just wait for him to turn to Batman, and that's it." And he's like, I wanted to make Bruce Wayne interesting. And so he made Bruce Wayne very suave, sophisticated, he's a ladies' man, very laissez-faire. But then beneath that, there's the scarred Bruce Wayne who's quiet. Only Alfred gets to meet that Bruce Wayne. And then you've got Batman, who's the angry, vengeful outcome of what happened to his parents. So essentially he's playing 3 characters. And that's what Christian Bale done to that role.
Yeah, I think one of the things that made Batman seem like a more substantial figure is just the level of realism that Christopher Nolan like gave to that project.
He grounded it in reality.
Yeah. Like everything else just seemed kind of cartoonish and comical. Like you can't really take it seriously. And it's like, yeah, just show it to the kids and then they'll go to sleep and that's a vibe. But no, like the whole Dark Knight trilogy to me, it seems like a perfect moral education for anyone who cares about that kind of stuff.
I have the suit used in the Dark Knight. I had it up on a mannequin up until this summer.
Okay.
I've got that suit, I've got the Batman Forever suit, and I've got the Batman Returns suit. Full suits, the ones, not the ones used in the movie, but exact replicas.
Okay.
I had them commissioned and made.
Nice.
And I spent a few $1,000s on them, but they're worth every penny. I put them in luggage this summer so that I can make some more room in my house in London. Very securely, like zipped up, wrapped up, bubble wrapped and everything. Yeah. And I reckon, that's actually my retirement plan, because I reckon over the years, they're going to acquire value. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Dude, you could have a packet of Pokemon cards, and if they were sealed, $35,000 they go for. So I'm a big Batman fan. I bought them first because I was a fan. I've kept them because I think they're going to become an investment.
Okay. Cool.
You know, I don't know, you're a Batman fan?
Yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan. I see Batman in myself. Huh? I see myself in Batman. I don't know which way it goes, but yeah, he's a huge influence in my life.
Maybe I'll put you in touch with, there's a cosplayer in Qatar who has the Batman suit from The Batman.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not that big into cosplay. I just like the
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want him sitting in your car. Might freak you out a little bit. Yeah.
Did you go to Geekdom? Are you big on that anime kind of scene?
I went once only because they appeared at the event I was going to, which was the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra playing themes from video games, which was really cool. That was amazing. They had the Pokemon singer come and sing a Pokemon song. Yeah, but the Geekdom thing, I think that's for the younger generation. I think me turning up a little bit weird, you know. But yeah, Geekdom's cool. It's good that they have that scene. I think it's good for kids to have that kind of connection to that culture. And I was, pleasantly surprised that it existed out here. I know it existed in London, but I didn't know it existed out here. Yeah.
I wanted to ask for your, the remix or parodies. You wouldn't really call them parodies, but yeah, the remixes that you did of those songs for Qatar. You said it got played in the malls and the radios?
They played it in the malls. They played it in Lusail during the World Cup. Okay. They played it on the Dow boats. Yeah. And
are you getting performance royalties every time that they play it? Like, how does...
No, I only found out by accident that they were playing them. I didn't get any royalties.
Okay, yeah.
I should have. And I went to the Dow boss. I'm like, hey, that's my song. He's like, okay. I said, it's okay. Look, I have a job, I have a salary. Yeah. So, there's that thing of, can you make money from such and such? I think it's very important for people to be grounded in reality and have a 9 to 5. You need a job. You can't escape the matrix in that sense of, I'm gonna become TikTok famous and okay, it's fine. Have that stuff as a side hustle. Yeah, you've seen those videos where the guy's like the hustler mindset, all this kind of stuff.
Hustler mindset.
Yeah. What's that guy?
ApnaJ.
Yeah, ApnaJ. Yeah, broski.
I love broski.
Yeah. Someone asked me, do I need to celebrate my birthday as a man? Let me ask you, broski. Yeah. You're gonna be celebrate 1 year being alive, or you're gonna have the hustler mindset and make your money. Yeah, and so I think it's very important to have the hustler mindset, but be grounded in reality, because I could have the footballer mindset. I want to become a footballer, yeah? I'm going to go and work every day on the football fields and I'm going to try and... Yeah, but where's your income coming from, You have to not fake it till you make it. I think you can do what you have to do and do what you love on the side until what you love on the side becomes fully profitable, and then you can bank on that and 100%. So I think it's very important that people develop this idea of, I'm not going to stick to the matrix and be in the 9 to 5 grind and have nothing else happening on the side. That's a problem, because it's going to develop in you these feelings of not being fulfilled, not achieving your dreams. I think it's important for a person to have the 9 to 5, but then have other side hustles. Yeah. You shouldn't only have one source of income. So I showed you my book. That's one source of income. It's great. The publisher sends me a check every month. Great. These are my sales.
How much you get for the book?
So the publisher takes their cut, which I probably shouldn't mention online how much that is. But yeah, but I get royalties from this because it's my book. So I get money from this. There's the money from the YouTube videos that are monetized, yeah? That's 2 sources of income already. What are the other sources of income? I've got a few other sources of income. So the hoodies I sell with another designer. We have the Qatari Music Vibes hoodies. We sell those online. And then I did have a t-shirt company, but I only got a few sales from those. Sometimes a side venture might not pan out, and that's okay. Yeah, failure is fine. Failure. Don't think the iPhone that we just came out, don't think they released that by making it just like that. There's a whole trail of failed iPhone. Was it 16 it is, or 17, 18?
I have no clue.
So there's a whole bunch of failed iPhones, right?
Yeah.
But they won't show you those. So failure is fine as long as you don't stop at that juncture. Yeah, you keep on going. Some side hustles won't pan out.
Yeah.
We saw ApnaJ in the back. Broski, let me tell you, every hustle on the side won't work out. Doesn't mean you give up. You got to aim for the top in it. But it's true. It is true. I can tell you that. So it's very important that people get rid of this mindset of, I'm going to have one 9 to 5 and I'm going to escape the matrix and just be TikTok famous. You can't do that, because that's putting all of your eggs in one basket. And that social media landscape's changing all the time. You can't chase that. You can't chase that. Have your 9 to 5 and have side hustles with multiple sources of income. And that way, you're not reliant on one source of income. You're not enslaved to that one source of income.
Yeah.
That's my ApnaJ version.
Yeah. Makes sense.
What do you think?
Yeah, like I agree. I've got my foot in both camps, so to speak, because like I'm pretty heavily over-indexing on the show this term, just because I've gotten a much better return from it than like any of the time that I've spent in school. Like I'm studying accounting at UDST.
See, so you do have that. You still have that as your
my backup, you could say.
Yeah.
But I feel like by the day it's becoming more and more risky. Like just because of AI, I feel like by the time that I graduate, the whole thing is going to become obsolete. So that's why I'm like really heavily investing in the show now and just trying to build the infrastructure for it to be like an economically viable thing. So yeah, do you like with your job, with your main source, your job is your main source of income, yeah?
So my job as an English teacher is my main source of income, and it provides me with my accommodation, it provides me with travel to the UK in the summer, and it gives me a steady source of income regardless of how many book sales I make, how many YouTube videos people watch of mine online.
Yeah.
Any opportunity I can, I try to make promo stuff. So this summer, I went to a movies and film car event, and they had all the movie cars. They had the Tumbler from the Dark Knight. They had the 1989 Batmobile. They had the car from Dumb and Dumber.
This is in the UK or here?
This is in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a free event. So I turned up there and had that hustler mindset.
Okay.
I can turn up there and I can take pictures of the cars. Great, right?
Yeah.
But no, I took a copy of the book with me, got on that train, and made the advert for my book with the cars behind me. Right? And that's promoting your... You know, people think that I'm going to promote these brands and whatever. No, yeah? Promote yourself. Promote your own product. Promote your brands. Yeah, it's true though, isn't it? Right? So I can go up there and say, oh, check out these cars. Why? What's the point? No, turn up there, made the advert for my book, and then they told me, oh, you don't really have permission to do that. I said, all right, well, I've done it now. Is it cool? They go, okay, it's fine. All right. But I like that hustler mindset, yeah? But it's true. So I promoted my own product, my own brand, went away, edited the video, put it online. Now, any sales that I generate from someone watching that video for my book, I'm going to profit from.
Yeah, I did a similar thing with the TikTok I made of Villaggio. I don't know if you saw that. That might have been the first one that you saw of me, is it?
I think so, yeah.
I just went in front of the torch, gave the pitch for the show, and now basically every day that thing gets another like and another potential customer, client.
I remember that video you made. It was like, what's going on here? Who's getting people in their cars in Qatar? I've never heard that before. I think you are the only one doing this right now.
I think so, yeah.
I think that because of that, social media teaches you to become not people, but sheeple, yeah? So the dance trends and so on. But I think with AI, you mentioned AI, right?
Yeah.
I do lecture, aside from my music and everything, I go and lecture on the existence of AI in education. I've done a few conferences, and I'll tell you this, with AI taking over everything, what's made by human beings is gonna slowly rise in value. Yeah. Because no one wants to see AI generated stuff. I'm sorry, they don't. Okay. And what's made by like this, for example, this is people interacting. It's going to become such a rare commodity. Yeah.
That's what I'm banking on. That's really what I'm hoping. Like, I'm hoping it's always going to be the case that people are more interested to see real human beings talking and interacting with each other than a simulated version of that through some AI.
So
algorithm.
what's made by human beings? So HI versus AI, right? What's made by HI is going to become such a rare commodity. It's going to become very, very profitable to make something
human-made.
Man-made. As opposed to AI generated. And so that's the thing that's going to, I think, keep what you're making and make it more profitable. Because right now the AI thing is everyone's using things to, and no one wants to see it. You just don't want to see it. You see it like, oh, I don't want to see something AI generated. You just go by it.
Do you feel like you can detect it in the various text communications that you get? Like, okay, I know this email was written by ChatGPT or some essay that your student submitted.
Well, thank God there's software to detect that. Sometimes I'll set an assignment and it's done in 2 minutes. Here's done. I was like, how have you written that? I did it, sir. So there's software for that, Zero GPT and so on. And so I personally, I don't like things that are deceptive. If it says it's AI generated, then fair enough. But if it pretends to be human generated, then I don't like that. I think that's that's a deception.
Yeah. You saw the bunnies on the trampoline thing?
No, which trampoline thing?
There was a video of some bunnies jumping on a trampoline, and it was AI generated. It wasn't really bunny, and it went viral because it looked that real. It looked like an actual video.
Yeah, scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think if we can find a healthy blend between HI and AI, I think that's very important. I think AI is not going anywhere, but we can't be subservient to it, but we can get the two to work in tandem, beside each other in healthy ways. That I think the question we need to ask ourselves is this moral? What's happening? Like the bunny thing, I think is harmless. It's harmless.
But you can easily see how it can be recast for more nefarious purposes with like political propaganda.
Yeah. So is it moral? Is it right or is it wrong? Like for example, they use Christopher Reeves' face in the Flash movie. He's dead. I'm sure they got permission from his family, but is it moral? Because he's not around anymore. You haven't really got his permission if you can recreate his face using AI and fully CG and get him to do things that he didn't really do. That's the question I think we have to ask is it moral? If it's harmless, fair enough. But if it can be construed and viewed as being immoral, then I think you have to draw the line and say, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Have you followed the AI issue very closely?
Yeah, I'm quite interested in it.
So you know about the AGI thing and ASI and the threat for human extinction and all that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Oh, okay, all right. So there's this guy, Eliezer Yudkowsky, and Nate Soares. They just put out a book called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. And it's about, like, you know what AGI is, right?
No, what's AGI?
So AGI is Artificial General Intelligence.
Okay.
And I think some people call it ASI now, where it's like artificial superintelligence.
Okay.
Where the end goal for all of these AI companies is that they want to develop the tech to a point where it's truly intelligent, and intelligent in a way where it's not susceptible to the kinds of glitches that it makes now, where if a human asks it, okay, how many R's are in the word strawberry, it isn't able to tell the correct number, right?
Okay.
So it's like intelligent across multiple domains, and it's better than every human at every cognitive task that can be performed.
Oh, wow. That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. So that, like, once they get to that point, like the central thesis of that book that Eliezer Yudkowsky and Nate Soares published is that the way that these systems are constructed, it's not like traditional lines of code where each line can be interpreted by a software engineer and they know exactly what it's doing. They're more grown than crafted.
Okay.
And, like, do you know how large language models work?
No.
Just to say very crudely, like, I have no expertise in that field either, but in a crude sense, what they're doing is just feeding a bunch of training data into an algorithm and then optimizing for a certain answer. And on each iteration, each trial that they do, they shift the weights to get the answer that they want, like for certain parameters that get the answer that they want, and away from the parameters that don't get the answer that they want. And you do that like a couple 100 billion times with a couple $100 million on the world's most advanced supercomputers, you get these systems that seem to emulate how we think, right? But really it's a very sophisticated prediction algorithm that gets the output that you want. But it's not, like, it doesn't think through problems in the way that we think through problems. It's just kind of guessing. But in a way where it's like, have you seen Westworld?
I've seen the original movie. I never saw the series.
Okay, so in the series, there's a scene where it's a woman talking to a guy who's visiting the park.
Right.
And he asks her, are you one of them? Like, are you one of the humanoid robots?
Right.
And then she's like, if you can't tell the difference, it doesn't matter. So that's kind of the state that we're in with most of these chatbots, where you can't tell the difference, and most of the time it doesn't matter. But it will matter in the coming future when you don't actually have a process by which you can control and modify their behavior, right? So, like, one example that they gave in the book was, I think it might have been Bing's chatbot. I think Bing's is called Cloud.
Okay.
I may be mistaken on that, but they didn't program it to deceive whoever they're talking to or do blackmail on them. But one of the chatbots actually did that.
No way.
Yeah. And like, once you have a bot that does something like that, there's no clean fix for that where you can actually just go into the code and say, okay, don't do that. Because it's not, like I said, it's not traditional software. It's grown rather than crafted.
Yeah.
The thesis that they're outlining in the book is that there are much more ways for the progress of this technology to go wrong than there are for it to go right in the one way that we want it to. And we can't even agree on the one way that we want it to go right? Like, we all have different visions of what an ideal future for humanity would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, what they're saying is that it's entirely plausible that, like, it's entirely plausible and basically certain that we will not have control of these machines once they get out of our hands. And once you're in a situation where you have machines that can think at 10,000 times the speed that you can, and they can replicate themselves, and they don't sleep or feel hunger, you're just like against a different kind of being, essentially, and you can't compete with it or control it in any way that is amenable to your aims.
I think as long as we can like shut it down.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't even shut it down. And they can deceive us. They can deceive us with all the world's information embedded into their software. And yeah, it's a really interesting book. You should check it out.
I will check that out. That sounds really interesting. And maybe it's
nice.
Something I can get some of my colleagues to look at as well, because I talk constantly about the dangers of AI and the threat posed by it. But I tend to look at it more on a positive outlook. But maybe that's me being a bit naive.
It is, yeah.
You know,
I'll just rip that Band-Aid off for you now.
I don't know how to control or measure it. That's the problem. I don't know how to contain it. Every scenario, it's not possible to contain it, and it becomes out of control. And you saw that robot attack a person once. You've seen the AI robot, it attacked a person, it malfunctioned and it started attacking a person.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. That's scary, you know. And there's these very human looking robots as well that are AI informed, and you know, like you said, the problem is the growth.
Yeah, it's the growth as well as the inability to marshal a coordinated response to that growth. Because there's this AI safety YouTuber I used to follow called, I think his name's Robert Miles, and he would talk about these problems. Like, one of the big problems that people talk about in AI safety is the alignment problem, which is the problem of how do you get AI systems that execute whatever task they do while still being aligned with human values. And yeah, it's hard to do that because of the reasons that Eliezer and Nate said. And like the vibe that I kept getting from watching that YouTuber's videos was, this sounds so complicated and intractable and depressing to think about that I don't even want to watch it anymore.
Sometimes they say all knowledge isn't power. It's sometimes good to remain ignorant of the truth.
Yeah, ignorance
the truth will not always set you free.
And he made this one video where he talked about, hypothetically as a thought experiment, what would happen if a meteor came rushing at us right now, like right this instant? Would we have the cognitive and social resources to just say, or even before now, like before we had the technology to predict it, like what can you do if a meteor is coming at you, you have no means by which to detect it, and it just renders the whole species extinct? And he presented that thought experiment as a way of illustrating our current state of ignorance and apathy to the problem, where there just isn't enough education and awareness of what's going on.
And there's also a desire not to know as well, because Keanu Reeves said he went to a director's house, right? And he met this director's granddaughter, I think, a teenager, and the director's like, oh, this is Keanu Reeves, you know, he's from the Matrix films. She goes, what's that? And then he's like, the Matrix is the movie where everyone's enslaved to these machines, but no one knows. Yeah, so you have to get unplugged in order to find out the truth of a human enslavement. Yeah. And then she goes, well, that's stupid. He goes, why? Because the whole film, Neo wants to know, like, the truth. She goes, who cares? I wouldn't want to know. And that's the generational difference. You know, in the past, in the 90s and so on, you know, there was so much techno fear, and you know, we want to get to the truth. The generation now, they don't care if the video is deep fake. They don't care if the image is AI generated. They're just an ambivalence, like, I don't care. I don't care, you know, because it doesn't make any sense. There's these apps out there that can make your tummy look skinnier, right? Can make your face reshape. People will use that and post a picture online, and I'm like, but that's not health related at all. Your belly is still there in real life, right? Your face is still like that. So why would you want to put an image out there that isn't truthful? And not only that, you can put 100 images of your face looking or your belly in a certain way. You're still going to suffer the health problems of having that belly where it is. But people now, they're like, yeah, but at least I look good online. It's crazy. It's a generational gap. There's a generational divide there when it comes to truth and truthhood and false and falsehood, you know?
Yeah. The thing you were saying about the Matrix reminded me of that. There's another thought experiment by, I forget the name of the philosopher, but it's the experience machine, right? Like, you're familiar with that?
No, I didn't know there was an experience machine out there.
No, like, it's a hypothetical that he posed where he's talking about, like, if there was a machine that you could step into that gives you just never-ending bliss and pure pleasure until you die, but you don't know it while you're in it, would you step into that machine? And then some people say yes, other people say no.
Right.
And the rationale for saying no is something to the effect of, like, there's more to life than just experiencing pure bliss, and I don't want to voluntarily submit myself to that experience. Like, I want
Yeah.
All the dynamism of the highs and the lows and
Jimmy Carr, the British comedian. I don't know if you know Jimmy Carr.
I'm familiar, yeah.
I met Jimmy Carr once. I chatted up his wife actually when I was 17. Yeah, it's quite funny. So I want a youth...
Wait, chatted up his wife? That means like you were flirting with his wife.
Well, I was just talking to her about London life, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I went to a film premiere because I won tickets to the film premiere. It was for The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson's first film, by the way. And so I went to the premiere. I went in my white suit. I always love wearing white, as you can see. So I went to the premiere, saw the movie, came out, and all the celebrities that were formally invited, they were all talking. And I was like, I recognize that guy, it's Jimmy Carr.
Yeah.
When I said, hey, Jimmy Carr, I go, how you doing? I said, I love your comedy because you always, you know, you're so raw. So, oh, thanks very much. And he's like, oh, I'm going to leave you with my wife. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I said, all right. So he went to the bathroom. So, and she's like, oh, how you doing, young man? I was like, yeah, I'm a, you know, A-level student, yada, yada, yada. And she started laughing. Oh, you're so funny. He came, oi, hands off my wife. And I said, no, just talking. He goes, yeah, that's how it starts, isn't it? Get off. I was like, I don't know, I couldn't tell if he was joking or being serious because he kept a straight face, right? Okay. But anyway, that's when I know Jimmy Carr from. So he done a very recent video where someone asked him, oh, Jimmy, you know, you recently got married, you had a few kids, but you spent a lot of your time unmarried. Why is that? And he goes, I thought I was having the best escape the matrix idea in my entire life when I was unmarried with no kids. Yeah. I was like, I'm living life to the full. I've got all this money. I can do whatever I want. And then it's only when I met my wife and had a child that I realized that I'd been, imagine the metaphor of in a big casino, and I'm at a low stakes poker table, but the big stakes poker table is down there. Yeah. I'm not invited to that table. Yeah, that experience of being a father, being a husband, and you know, being a family unit. I was at the low stakes poker table. You know, a couple of dollars. You know, that's a little poker table.
There's not that much skin in the game. It's only your personal, like whatever you suffer. Yeah.
So people want, going back to what you're talking about, the full experience of life. You know, no one would want simple pleasure only. If you know that there's other facets to life, you'd want the whole experience. Yeah. You know, it takes someone very, very shallow and self-centered to only have one side of the experience. You know, there's other sides to life.
Yeah, I feel like I caught a stray there.
Huh?
I feel like I caught a stray there. I'm not sure if I'm that shallow a person, but just at this point in my life when I'm thinking about marriage and the possibility of starting a family,
it's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. And just the prospect of being intertwined with another person and family who like you can't really trust because you don't know them, right? And just to have that, like once it's set, it's set. Like to even back out of it, you can't really, like that. Yeah, it's very scary and I'm terrified by the prospect of it. And I still feel like I'm figuring myself out, but maybe at some point, maybe.
I think that there's no age for it. I think that you will know when you're ready and you're fully comfortable and you're cruising for a couple of years.
I need to get to that cruising stage before thinking about that.
You're fully fine and comfortable in looking after yourself. Like, yeah, I'm down with that. Because what you don't want, a lot of boys, and I say boys deliberately, get married. They get married. They get married and they've gone from being looked after by their mom to them being looked after by their wife, right? Yeah. And frustrating because everyone comes into marriage with their expectations, right? And relationships do come with expectations too. And so girls don't come into a relationship, or you know, whether it's married or not married, they don't come in thinking, oh, I can't wait to mother a boy, you know, and they don't want that. So and you can't give them that either. And that's what leads to break down relationships, because they realize, okay, he may look like a man, but he's not a man internally. He doesn't behave like a man. He's not looking after me like a man. And so that's why it leads to the relationships breaking down. So you have to get to a point where you're fully comfortable in looking after yourself. So when you do meet someone, you're like, listen, I'm fully comfortable looking after myself. I'm not going to get into a conversation where it's you complete me, to quote Heath Ledger, but that's a problem. If you're incomplete yourself, then you're looking for someone else to complete you, quote unquote. That's a problem, because that means you're walking around half the day or more than half the day incomplete. No, you have to be fully complete yourself. That other person complements you.
Yeah, I was going to say complementary.
They complement you and they add to your life experience, but you're fine without them. So once you get to that position and you tell the other person, the only thing that I want from you is to share life with me, share this journey with me. You know, I don't need you to do my dry cleaning and my washing up and all the things that my mom used to do growing up. Because if, you know, you can just... You can get these hire a maid. They'll come and do that stuff for you if that's what you need. Don't have those expectations of a partner doing those things for you, because I'm sorry, you know, little boy, that's your wife or girlfriend. That's not your mom. You know, go and live with your parents if you want to do that. Don't act like a man if you're not a man, innit? Okay, it's true. You don't have all the talk that I'm a man, and ultimately in your core you want, you know. So once you get to that position, there's no age limit for it. You will know. You're like, okay, I'm good now on my own. Okay, let me find someone that compliments me. And girls too. By that same token, a lot of girls out there looking for the guy to almost be their father again, and pay for everything. And no, your dad did that. This is not your dad. Okay, you're there to complement his life, and he's there to complement your life. If you think that he's going to complete you, and you have all this trauma and
unresolved baggage,
and your own things, you have to go through that journey on your own. And once you're fully comfortable on your own, then look for a guy that compliments you. There's no age for that. The guy will know when he knows. The girl will know when she knows. But you have to be comfortable in your own skin, be comfortable looking after yourself before you bring, like you said, someone else into the mix. And I've seen families come from all over in Qatar. I've seen people that are separated. I've seen people meet here and love blossoms here, and it's amazing. And they get married and they have children here. And imagine those children have dual nationalities and their sense of home is very flexible. I've seen all of that. But the relationships I've seen that have lasted have been relationships where both people are fully independent and they complement each other. The dependent element is where problems arise. I feel like I'm treading onto relationship ground here, but I'm not an expert. I'm just talking from experience.
Yeah. Are you married yourself?
That's undisclosed.
Okay.
Because, otherwise the comments gonna go crazy. A lot of people have this tendency to want to post everything. You can't overshare. Your family life, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your children, that stuff is private. Let's just change some of the labels. Get rid of the idea of social media. Let's just put Google, right? Google itself, right? Google's accessible by everyone, right? Would you put your family's pictures on Google? You wouldn't, right? So how has it become acceptable for you to post your partner and post pictures of your children on social media because you think it's secure? Oh, my social media account is private. Nothing's private. The minute you put it out there, someone can screenshot it and share it with someone else in an instant, and it's no longer private anymore. Now with AI, you don't know what can be done to that picture. And that's the thing though, even if you buy, let's say I buy my wife a huge bunch of flowers, right? And I post, oh, great flowers for my wife, can't wait to see how happy she is. You've lost the intimacy of that moment. The intimacy of that moment is between you and her. It's a private moment. It's a love language. Love languages it can be spoken affirmation, like I love you and I care for you, you mean a lot to me. It can be gifts. Some people love languages, gifts. But from the love language, the moment you share that element of, oh, here's the flowers, you've killed the intimacy. You've smashed it down to zero, because now it's not flowers only for her, it's flowers for everybody. Because why have you had to post it? You're looking for validation, and if not from her, from everyone else. Oh, what a loving husband you are. Can't do that. You can't. Intimacy is something that has to be protected. Has to be protected and shrouded, because that's just between you and her. And the more you protect it, the more private and secure it is. The more you put it out there, the more you're looking for validation from everyone. And that's just a disaster waiting to happen, because is that pressure? Do I have to post flowers every week now? Right? I know a relationship that broke down, right? You know why it broke down?
Okay.
So this guy, right? This is a couple. I won't name who they are, right?
Go ahead.
So they were newly married. I went to the wedding, and guess what? It was a great wedding. She came out in a white dress. They danced to We Found Love Right Where We Are. It was amazing. I was like, what a great wedding, They had they had the steam come out, the smoke and everything, and the smoke was mixing with that dress. It was amazing, right?
Okay.
So I went to the wedding, right? And I follow this guy on Facebook, but no one uses Facebook anymore, right? Every week, right, for the first couple of months, date night with my wife, can't wait. It's a picture of a menu, picture of a restaurant, picture of this, picture of every week it's the same, right? Now, I know how much this guy makes, right? He doesn't make that much, right? 3 months in, right, the Facebook picture stopped, right? Now, I used to work with this guy, right? So the Facebook picture stopped, right? The posts about these dinners or whatever stopped. Come 4 months in, I saw he looked really disheveled. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, oh, man. Oh, because you can't maintain that life. You can't.
Wait, so who's putting the pressure on him to post the dates? Is that self-imposed entirely?
Maybe self-imposed. It's not like he had social media following or anything. But he just felt he had to post. So get this, eventually you can't maintain that. The minute you can't maintain, the minute you set up that expectation, right, that's going to create a rift and a problem in the relationship. So, because she's expecting it, right? You set up an expectation. So I was like, what happened? He goes, oh, the missus wasn't happy yesterday. That's why not? He goes, oh, she said, oh, we're going to go out. And I said, okay, and he goes, well, I just wanted a pizza. So he goes, I tell you what, Aslom, I said, can we just have pizza? And then he goes, She went to the back. She grabbed the wedding albums and started tearing them up. I said, over pizza. He said, yeah. God. He said, yeah, over pizza. I was like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. He goes, yeah, man, I don't know what to do. I was like, and if you need to talk, I'm here, okay? Anyway, 2 months later, they were divorced. Done.
That's so sad.
Didn't last 6 months, right?
How long were they seeing each other before they got married?
I don't know about the history. But I just know they got married and didn't last 6 months, right? And I think part of that problem was that first year of marriage, right? You have to build the intimacy. It's married life. You're not in a relationship anymore. You're married, right? And when a woman comes into a marriage, she has expectations. You've been thinking about her for a large portion of her life. As a guy, you've been thinking about it, dreading it, and oh my God, what kind of husband am I going to be? You've been going off movies and music and everything, all the media's out there. And so there's expectations. You have to manage your expectations. You have to manage her expectations. None of that involves oversharing your private life online. Yeah. So I think it's fine to post like, a beautiful sunset, but don't post your relationship online. Don't ruin your intimacy with your partner online, because it's only a rocky road. Like I said, even if it's positive stuff, only flowers, okay, but are you going to post a rook? Is that added pressure? Is it self-imposed pressure? Are you thinking that, oh my God, rather than, oh, does she want flowers this week? Oh, I've got to post because people are expecting it. My audience is expecting it. Forget your audience. Your audience can look at sunsets and look at coffee, but don't post your relationship stuff, because I think that's part of the problem why people are suffering alone now. Guys aren't putting themselves out there because they're afraid of rejection, but they're also afraid of all of that comes with a relationship in today's generation, which is the social media element.
The expectations.
That's why I think that people are afraid. They're afraid of going for dinner, having a camera pointed in their face. Oh my God, this is all he bought me. The guy wants to split the bill. He only bought me this shrimp thing, and he's being the guy is on a date and he's being filmed. Right?
What are your thoughts on who should pay on a date?
I think
always a man.
I think, look, if any money you pay towards anything is an investment, right? So so I think that if you're two friends, like going out for dinner, whatever, split the bill between you. Okay. If it's your wife, as a man, as ApnaJ would say, you're the provider, innit? Okay. And so you should provide, because a woman wants from you, she might not say it to you, but she wants from you protection. She wants for you to be honest. She wants for you to be kind. A lot of guys think that they can be horrible and effing and blinding all the time, and but I'm being a man, innit? Okay. I teach a book called Mice and Men. In Mice and Men, Curly's wife, she says, I don't like Curly. He ain't a nice fella. I tell my students, I'm like, she doesn't like her husband because he's horrible to everyone. She doesn't want to be in a relationship with a guy that's horrible to everyone. That's not what she expected for herself. So a girl wants from a man kindness. She wants from him honesty. She wants from him protection. She wants from him a softness that he probably won't show up with his friends and being macho, but you should be soft in your demeanor of your wife and your partner. You should be soft, and she wants you to be a provider. She may be capable to provide. Fine, she wants to buy you a coffee, fair enough. But as the majority stakeholder in a relationship, in terms of providing, you should provide for your wife.
Okay. So tell me what you think of this case. All right, I was hanging out with this girl. First time we met. I don't know what the vibe was. I don't know if it was a date. Basically what happened was, like, I put out a TikTok saying, yo, what's up? I'm about to have dinner like in an hour. If you want to join me, go ahead and text me and we can do that. Then she texted me being like, hey, you've been showing up on my For You page a lot, so I thought I'd shoot my shot. And that phrase, shoot my shot, to me that has like a bit of a romantic character to it. So I didn't want to make anything explicit. I thought we might as well just figure out, like, as we hang out.
Sure.
Then we met the first time. We went to Vendôme, we walked around a bit, had some lunch at Dave's. And then we went to an art exhibit, and then I dropped her off at the art exhibit and I went home. So that time I paid the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
So there's been no, I'm very bad at judging this. I can never tell who's into me or who isn't. Like, I just wish they would make it explicit from the jump. But that time I paid. The second time we met, we went to Vendôme again. We went to this, like, I don't know what you call it. I forget the place, but we had like some chicken tikka sandwich.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah, 2 of those, an orange juice, and a power shake for me.
Okay.
And then it was time to pay the bill. And I asked her, I was like, what do you want to do here? Should I pay or you pay? Because even when I was paying the bill the time at Dave's, she said, I can pay.
Yeah.
And I hate doing this little dance of decorum of like, okay, I know you're saying you can pay, but I don't know if you actually mean it from your heart that you want. Yeah. Like, maybe you really want me to pay, but you just
So what happened in the chicken tikka place?
So the chicken tikka place, I was like, I can pay the whole thing, but if you're down, you can pay. Like, if we're friends, it only seems fair that if I paid for Dave's the last time, if I paid all of it, you should pay this time, right?
Right, what'd she say?
50-50. And she's like, I don't know, I just feel so masculine to pay. So then I ended up paying the whole thing.
You see her again?
I have not seen her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about modern day relationships, is that there's that problem. That's why I'm not telling you to, when you meet a next girl, say, all right, look, we're going to get married. Okay. But there should be like a commitment from both ends.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just end up paying for lots and lots of dinners, right? So you can tell a woman, look, I'm happy to pay, no problem.
Yeah.
But there's a dotted line, okay? And until you sign on the dotted line, then you can pay for yours, I'll pay for mine. Yeah. Because I'm sorry, like in that whole idea of platonic friends and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and the guy ends up losing out.
Okay.
I think that marriage protects a man from all of that. Because your wife, of course, you can pay for your wife.
Yeah.
Who else are going to pay? As a man, you should pay for your wife. It's your wife.
Yeah.
Your kid's there. You can let your kid watch your wife pay for you. No. If your wife wants to treat you, okay, for a coffee or a cake or whatever, that's fair enough. Okay, she's doing that out of love. But modern relationships, it's a grey area.
Yeah.
It's a grey area, and that's where these problems arise, because it's a no commitments, no frills, no nothing situation, and so you can be thrown under the bus. Oh well, you're the guy, you should pay. But then, are you going to see her again? Where's that going to go? Where is it? What's that conversation that Ross has with Mona in Friends? You look young. We're doing fine. Okay, where is this going? Where is it going? Where is it going? Because if it's going towards you getting a free dinner, I'm really sorry, I'm not an ATM. So if you can, the more you can get a sense of commitment from the person that you're seeing, the more invested she will be. But there are a lot of people out there that'll just look for you, especially nowadays with the cost of living rising. I'm sorry, people literally turn up for a free meal.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. Even if it's a chicken tikka sandwich. It's like, yeah, but a girl's got to eat, a guy's got to eat.
I'm sure she'll love that. I'm going to post this to see if she responds to that.
Yeah, so if you can look, the more you can get someone to commit in anything, I'm not saying you whip out a contract, okay, so here it is. Okay, but that's why marriage exists, because you'll save so much dough on free lunches. You won't have that problem anymore. Unless the girl commits to anything, then I'm really sorry, go and get your own lunch,
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway, because I just see all these people, they're suffering, and I don't know what the answer is for modern day relationships, but I do see people suffering, and I see the situation you're in, there's so many of them happening all over the world now. And the answer to it is just everyone should just get married, and then and then there won't be that thing anymore. And yeah, the guy will be masculine, the guy will pay, the guy will take her out, the guy will provide for her, look after her, protect her, be honest with her, be kind to her, be funny with her. And girls will have all of those things. They'll have the protection that they want, they'll have the guy providing for them that they want, they'll have all the things that they seek. And you can't seek that from a random dude. You can't tell a guy, hi, I don't know who you are, okay, don't know what you want, okay, but I wanted to provide for me, I wanted to protect me, I wanted to do this and that. And now he's like, well, whoa, where did this come from? I was just looking to have someone to chill with.
Yeah.
And she can't tell him, yeah, but that's my expectation. Okay, but we're not married, we're not in a committed relationship, what's the contract? That's why this social construct of the marriage exists, because it pulls commitment from both ends. I think what's affected girls' expectations is social media.
Yeah.
Like there are weddings you go to where there's a chocolate fountain. It's only because a girl saw a chocolate fountain at someone else's wedding. No one touches it. No one does use it. The kids go and make a mess out of it. Yeah. Complete waste of time. But it's for the gram. And again, you shouldn't have to post your wedding on Instagram. If you have to post the gifts that your husband's giving you on Instagram and the gifts you're giving him on Instagram, that's already impacting on the intimacy, because that's something very special and very private and should be very protected. Yeah, the gifts you give each other. But Bollywood and social media has taught these girlies, okay, I'm sorry, they're women. Don't call them girlies, okay? I hate that phrase, okay?
Yeah, it rubs me the wrong way too. I don't like it.
I'm sorry, you can't say I'm a girl but I want a man, okay? Yeah. No, you're a woman, okay? And you want a man, okay?
That's great.
So this idea of no responsibility behavior has to stop. A girl can misbehave. A 7-year-old girl can misbehave. You're a grown woman, you have responsibilities, okay? You can't act like this. I'm gonna act however I want and a zero comeback.
Yeah.
No. Okay, don't negatively impact the intimacy of your relationship by posting the stuff you do, your husband, by posting the gifts you've got on, the gifts you're giving him. No one cares. Nobody cares, okay? The only thing you're doing is ruining your intimacy. okay? And that should be private. It's the history that you're going to share between yourselves. You can share those pictures of your kids when you have kids and they grow up. This is what your dad got me when we got married first, but don't share it online. Why don't you go and print those pictures out, go out onto the streets and give it to people as handouts? This is my wedding. Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. How can you putting it online? It's the same thing. It's just a digital sphere, you know? Yeah, the dating scene right now is scary. I couldn't have an answer for you. All I know is that when the person that you meet, you'll know when you know. And there's nothing wrong with being single your whole life, by the way. I was single for a whole portion of my life. Nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing. You can enjoy it, enjoy it, because when the right person comes along, you're going to miss it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Don't you think? And it's just someone where I was never fake from the beginning, because I'm sorry, I couldn't keep up the act if I was fake. Really? So I was just myself. Yeah. And that way I haven't changed. The women say, oh, he changed. He didn't change, honey. He only put on an act and the mask has now fallen off. He's tired of keeping up the act. He didn't change.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because guys, they say put your best foot forward. A guy will put on an act, yeah? Both men and women, they lie. Girls lie through their looks, yeah? The hair's fake, the makeup's fake, the nails are fake, it's all fake. Okay. Yeah? And so when the hair and the makeup and the nails come off, you're like, oh, damn, is that how you really look? Okay. And then, because the more fake it is, the more you're going to subtract the guy, okay? Show him that, because he has to live with that person, in the house. You're not going to wear makeup 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do the guys lie?
And the guys lie because the guys will tell the girls what they want to hear. Yeah. Yeah, and the more game they have, the more he'll know what lies to say. So, and then the girls will slowly realize that all the things he promised in the beginning, they were all lies. Yeah. So girls, if you minimize your makeup so that your look is more truthful to how you actually are, and if guys minimize their lies and actually set real expectations, if she's like, I want to go Bahamas, don't say, yeah, honey, we're going to go there. Be like, okay, well, it's quite expensive. Maybe we have to save for a couple of years before we can go. Be honest with what you say as a guy. And girls, be honest with what you show in terms of your appearance. That relationship will have a stronger foundation rather than a relationship built on lies and unrealistic expectations, because he's going to expect her to look like that all the time. Yeah. She's going to expect him to make good on his promise to take her to the Bahamas and to New York and Zanzibar and all these places. And when he doesn't, when he falls short of keeping up those things that he promised, when he promised her everything under the sun, the relationship's going to face problems. When she falls short of looking like how she looked on that first day, every single morning when he wakes up, the relationship's going to face hurdles. So a little honesty can go a long way, especially in the foundational part of the relationship.
Yeah, that's been a recurring theme in most of my talks with my guests. It's just like the...
I think that's quite good. You should put that into your podcast. That was quite good.
Yeah.
That little segment.
Yeah, thank you for that. But I was saying, like, one thing that I find is universal, like the thing you were saying about universal patterns, is just many people feel this pressure to perform for the people in their lives and prop up this artifice. And one thing that I find so refreshing about this show and just this conversational atmosphere is I strip all of that away from all my guests. Like, I never want them to have that feeling of, okay, I need to put up an act, Yeah.
So you can't lie in your workplace, right? You can't lie in your close relationship with your friends, because you're very quickly going to lose those friends as well. And with your partner, you can't lie either, because that destroys. And the biggest destroyer of intimacy is lies. Because intimacy is the closeness, with your partner.
Building trust, it just corrupts that.
If you lie, then that like it corrupts. It's like you poison the water. Yeah. You can't do that, So honesty really is the best policy.
Yeah,
it can go a long way.
Best policy in all domains. Like the thing you were saying about not lying at work. One thing I think about a lot is just how much of your life outcomes are predicated on the basic habits that you build and, like the foundations that you set. And not lying is just one of those most important ones to set. Because, like, when you're lying about your competence, what you can put food on the table for, like, the second that gets tested and it's proven that you're a fraud, like, that sticks with you even outside of that scandal.
Even here, especially here, where it's a very, very small community, right?
Yeah.
If you've lied and your employer catches you out on your lie, that can spread very quickly, right? And your reputation in this country can spiral downwards very, very quickly.
For real. And like, even outside of that, when you're just the kind of person who gets by on lies, you never have a real foundation on which you're building your life. It can all go away at any moment. And so that's another reason I just don't like.
There's a quote, talking about movie quotes, there's a quote from John Wick, I've seen people go up in promotions and then they struggle and then they go back down, or they'll change jobs and whatever. Yeah. And the quote from John Wick is in John Wick 4, where the bad guy, he's trying to catch out John Wick, and a guy tells him, a man's ambition should not exceed his worth. Whatever you want, if you have these high ambitions for yourself, that's fine. It can be lofty. but it shouldn't go past what you're actually able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if that exceeds, that's a problem.
Reminds me of something ApnaJ said in one of his Hustla mindset.
Yeah.
He did I think the premise of the TikTok was when finance bros give relationship advice. And it's just a silly joke, but it really hit home. Like one thing that he said in that, it was, I can't replicate the accent. Maybe you can do it for me.
Yeah.
But he goes, don't try and do cold calls, build demand for your product first. Where like, if you're just doing 1,000 cold calls and nobody cares, like let the client come to you. That's what he said.
Let the client come to you.
Yeah. And how that applies to my own life is I used to do cold calls at first.
Yeah.
Like I could have just done cold calls all around and every time just put someone in the uncomfortable position of being on the receiving end of this pitch.
Yeah.
But with that one Bellagio TikTok, I built demand. I built a lot of demand and now everybody comes to me and I don't have to, like the rest of my life, the rest of the career of this page, I never have to do another cold call again.
Hustler mindset.
Hustler mindset. What is that accent? Would it be accurate to call that a Stratford accent? Is that Stratford?
I don't know. I feel like
when I think of Stratford, I think like Dingy Rapids.
Yeah, no, it's more like it's in a London accent, yeah. Oh yeah, bro, you got that for me, fam, yeah. But he's put a bit of a twist on it. The inner London accent is a bit more like, oh, fam, what you got for me, innit? Yeah. But he's stretched it out a little bit, right? Broski, you got that. So he's kind of made it his own. But I do know the accent. It's kind of the London gang kind of accent, yeah. And if someone comes up to talking like that, you're probably gonna get mugged or something, yeah. So you better start walking away. I was with my Qatari friend once and we were walking down Paddington and some guy started walking out. So, oh, bro, where's the nearest corner shop, innit? Okay, and I said, we were on a straight road, there was no corner shop. The point was he wanted us to stop and converse with him and my friend was like, what did he say? I said, just keep walking. And I said, no corner shops here, bruv. And I carried on walking. I said, do you know what he wanted to do? He goes, what? He said, he wanted to rob us. So he asked you a question to confuse you a little bit. And then while you're talking, his friends might surround you and then ask you for your phone. So what ApnaJ is, he took that UK kind of street gangster, street thug
that cadence
accent, yeah, and he put it into his hustler mindset thing. Yeah, but he's just motivational. But there are some truths in what he says.
Yeah. I like that guy a lot.
I saw it recently, yeah, the hustler mindset thing. I was like, okay, that's quite. I only looked at it when I saw the birthday video. But I'm gonna celebrate 1 year being alive. Your ancestors were fighting wars, bro. Yeah, and you wanna celebrate being alive, or broski, you're gonna come down with me, or come down to my house. We're gonna put a cake in that. Celebrate that I didn't die. Get a life, fam. Yeah, so that's what and it's true. It's true. I don't. In Qatar, men don't celebrate their birthdays. Real men don't celebrate their birthdays.
Okay.
Yeah, girls do, women do. They'll celebrate birthdays for kids, but a man doesn't celebrate his birthday. I'm really sorry. It's absolute nonsense. And if you have to celebrate your birthday, you need to really, really evaluate your life choices because how did you get there? How did you get to a man celebrating your birthday? Or you want a birthday cake? Do you want a birthday hat as well? Or do you want to bring all your friends together and hand out candy? Get pizza in the middle? You're gonna put a kid? The clown gonna tell them what's gonna happen? Yeah, and I said I really, really don't believe in this. And I googled it. He turned up, and he made me laugh. I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think we lost the sun now, man.
We have. I'll take us to a place with some better lighting.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, man. I wish you nothing but love and success in this life. Until we meet again, goodbye.
And good night.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, man.
All right.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I had a great time.
Yeah, I did have a great time. Oh, we're not done. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know there was more.
No, there wasn't more, but yeah. Like, I'm just in the habit of talking, yeah.
Let's do it again.
The catchphrase again? All right. I wish you nothing but love and success in this life. Until we meet again, goodbye.
And good night.
Hey stranger, do you wanna have a chat? Could you tell me where you're from and where you're going, where you're at? Hey stranger, could you use a little break from all the way you're carrying and maybe entertain me with your stories and I'll tell you mine. I'm really lonely, I just wanna try, seeing if we could get lost for a night. So won't you come join me for a drive?
All right, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was a great time, and that is all.
Thank you very much, man. I look forward to
It's cool, man. You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to play the part. Yeah.
Okay.
Either one could have worked. I was just saying. I was speaking from the heart. I'm saying like I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. I had a great time too. It was great meeting you. Like I said, I saw your videos. Like I really want to meet this guy. He looks so cool. He's so chill. That's a unique idea, and I would love to just talk with this guy.
Awesome.